Okay, so part 2, Low New Lands. And this is basically a bunch of set encounters. So this is the modules, I guess. With the different places that they could encounter. I've been told it was a point crawl, which I had never heard of before, which then melded onto a hex crawl. So, yeah, so there's a lot in there. I had to look up a lot, but it's just encounters, different stuff. I don't want to give away what happens in this, because it's a lot of expense for your referee to buy this thing and for you to just hear a review and find out what's happening. Weird stuff. So, book 3, Prodigy's Monsters and Index, is basically a monster manual. It's full of monsters with descriptions of them. And some of the most powerful ones my players never randomly encountered. Okay, so that's book 3. Now what do you get if you bought the deluxe version? Well, let's look at it. First of all, we got maps. Let's pull up the maps. Move this over here. Okay, so here's one map. It's a map of Virginia. So this one you could freely show your players, so it wouldn't spoil anything. Here's one that doesn't even have terrain on it. Just hexes. This one I could draw on if you wanted to. Okay. And this one is another copy of the one that you can draw on one side, and the other side is the map that includes the weird section here, and some of the tables you might need to look up are on here. Okay, also, there is a custom character sheet just for this adventure. Here's what the other side looks like. They're in a pad, and so you have to tear them off. The sheet is kind of small, and most people don't write that small to fill this thing. But luckily, if you bought this, you get a PDF file of the character sheet, so you can print it out to larger, full size on a page file, and then you get something that's actually useful. It also came with this, the expedition log, which there was no PDF that came with this, so my players were unable to use this because in order to get people to play Lamentations of the Flame Princess, I have to cast my net to the entire world to find enough players. Okay, so there's also a referee screen. Now, it's too short to prevent players from looking over it to see your map. I've had that from trying to play with new school players. Had one who was sitting next to me, and he tried leaning over my screen, which is bigger than this one, to look at the dungeon map. So it's got on it the Virginia random encounters, the new people reaction. So one of the monsters is something called new people, which are, you could call them mutated humans. Each tribe is different. And I adapted that to make a player character race after this was all over. But so far the players have not wanted to play it because you have to, all the players would have to agree in order for it to be a fun class. Everybody would have to run one. So here's a within the village in the warp, how the villagers can react. what the villagers would want, problems with the colonists that the villagers are having, and there is a miscast table in case you're using the weird magic system, only this miscast table is 20 entries long, not 12 as a standard. And they're all unique ones that are not in the previous books that had the weird magic system. So, basically we had a lot of fun running this. For me as the referee, it was a pain to look up things in 3 different books while I'm at the table playing. It was too big. I've heard Roggy say that a adventure should have a monster, and this one has a whole book full of monsters. I guess the ones that didn't use I could use later. The only problem we had with it is that the players were not able to figure out a plot line. They expected there to be a plot line. It felt like it was more like a hex crawl or a setting. It was wandering around. They'd find weird stuff and fight it or negotiate with it. But the plot line was not apparently apparent to them. So eventually we all got tired of it and we went on to other stuff.